Hi, Captain Steve for Ocean Life Network, and today I am on a really nice catamaran, the HammerCat 35. I'm going to do a full sea trial and performance evaluation, but first, let's take a look at this boat out of the water because there are a lot of interesting features going on with the hull. HammerCat's design team focused on the ride and efficiency. Now, a lot of that efficiency comes from the fact that there are dual steps to each hull. That's something I have not seen in a Cat before. Now, what this does is it draws air in, and you've got aerated water underneath the hull that breaks up that surface friction, gives you a much smoother and much more efficient ride. We've got high topsides. It's hard not to notice that, so we've got safety built into this boat. Features at the bow, well, that has to start with this narrow entry that's going to slice right through any waves. Notice at the bottom, molded in tow points. There's something I haven't seen before because this boat makes an excellent super yacht tender. So now we've got the tow point way down low, lifting the bow up and getting it through those waves. Additionally, wave piercer, the compartments in the bow drain out the back of this wave piercer. And look at the high tunnel. I mean, your water line is probably going to be right about here. So you've got all this height to this tunnel. So waves are just going right on through this boat. Great performance. Notice as we move further back now, we've got chines that will throw the water out, giving us a dry ride. And if you get into heavy seas and the bow dips down, we've got another spray rail, again, giving us a dry ride. And as we move back, it becomes more of a reverse chine, and all the way back here, well, now it's actually becoming a hook. Notice we've got an extended transom. That's going to give us a little more buoyancy here, less bow rise, quicker times to plane. I noticed that there are two deck drains, and that the deck is canted a little bit to the outside, so if we do happen to ship water on board, it goes right back overboard in short order. These are the drains for the fish boxes. This is going to mean that the boxes drain overboard naturally, no complicated macerators or pumps, goes right overboard.
But to me, one of the biggest things that separates HammerCat from the competition is the construction method. They're using e-glass, resin infusion, epoxy composite materials, and epoxy resin as opposed to the standard polyester or vinyl ester resin used by nearly all others. This makes this boat strong while being extremely light. This should be a 16,000-pound boat, but actually, when it's wet, half load, it's only 8,000 pounds.
Which brings us to a surprising discovery right at the stern. 2 engines instead of 4. That means a lower purchase price, a lot less maintenance, and of course your insurance company is going to love this. Engine choices go as low as 300 horsepower and go to 350 or up to 400 horsepower. I also notice how the engines are canted inward slightly, 1, maybe 2 degrees. That's going to give us some better performance too. So now, let's look over some of the features inside. At the foredeck, we've got the ground tackle. The center compartment opens for road storage. There are 2 storage compartments, 1 to either side, and these have a bulkhead to cut them off from the center compartment so they're not both connected, but they do all drain overboard. There's a heavy-duty stainless steel Samson cleat up in front, and as I look underneath, I don't see a backing plate, but it is molded into the deck. Lumar plow-style anchor, that's a 25-pound anchor on a stainless steel anchor roller. There's 50 feet of chain and 150 feet of rope rode. Now, what I really like is if we close this all off, we can see that the entire deck is molded in non-skid. Hinges are all flush mounted so we don't have any trip hazards, but more importantly, we're working everything here at waist height. We're not bending over to have to deal with anything, and that's because this whole deck is 35 inches off of the main deck. To both sides, 8-inch flip-up cleats, and this is the start of 3 cleats to each side. Open up a hatch at midship, and we've got a fuel tank. This is aluminum 1/4 inch thick. It's epoxy covered, and once it's put in place, laid onto the stringers, there's bulkheads to both sides. It's glassed in to those bulkheads, so it also becomes a structural component of the boat. This is, of course, repeated to the opposite side as well. But to me, the most interesting aspect of this is it's made to be hosed off, because you know you always get salt water on the tank, and if it's bare aluminum, you get that chalky on there. The epoxy will stop that from happening, but you can hose it off and get that salt water off of there so that it's not sitting on all of these components. Nice little feature. And of course, let's not lose sight of the fact that every hatch we open on this boat is held with a gas support strut. Now let's take a look at the helm and what a helm it is. It starts with a carbon fiber panel, 51 inches by 18 inches. Standard displays are going to be dual 9-inch displays, but you can go up as high as two 22-inch displays. Even with these panels, there's still plenty of room for a vessel view display, a multi-data display, autopilot, VHF with a mount for the microphone to the side, so you don't have to be a contortionist to get to that. Controls for the displays, stereo. We've got USB connectivity as well as an inductive charger right on a recessed area with a padded mat. I like seeing that. Plenty of beverage holders. The switch panel is located down low instead of up on the main panel, interfering with where the displays are going to go. Not lost on me that the helm is center mounted. We've got observers to both port and starboard so they can take a part in the navigational aspect. Convenient grab rails to both sides, and notice that we're all under the protection of this hardtop. Now this is a carbon fiber hardtop, so that we've got lightweight up high and a low center of gravity. This measures 10 feet by 12 feet, so plenty of protection both fore and aft and out to the sides, and it only weighs 175 pounds.
I also like that there's easy access to the back of the panel for installations and servicing.
The 3 helm seats are from LeBrock. They're in fixed positions and all include flip bolsters and flip armrests. Underneath, I like this. There's a flip down panel. Gives us a little more altitude for us short captains. This will bring you up 4.5 inches off of the main deck. And if I look inside, I can see a high and a low pressure pump for our washdowns and our sink. Low pressure for the sink, of course, high pressure for the washdowns. And take a look at this over the side, right here. There's a manifold, so we can switch from a freshwater deck wash to a saltwater deck wash. There's a 50 by 24 inch windshield, and look at the size of that windshield wiper motor. I mean, that's commercial grade, so that won't be failing anytime soon. We can also get windows along the side for us northern latitude boaters, and there's even a model coming out from HammerCat, an HH model, that's going to have an all enclosure. It'll be like a cuddy cabin. Very cool feature. Looking forward to seeing that. The fuel filters for the engines located in these aft compartments. I can see them on the outside of the hull. This one also has plenty of room for storage. And if I look over here, I've also got a sea chest. That's a nice feature to have. And these pumps lead to the live well.
Hammer Yachts designed the 35 to have maximum space inside, so to that end, in addition to her 35-foot length overall, she has a wide 12-foot beam. And with a draft of 19.4 inches, she can get around the shoals and reefs dotting the skinny waters of the coasts. She's a surprisingly light boat at 6,470 pounds. If we take that weight and add half fuel, 62% water, and 3 people, then we come up with an estimated test weight of 8,622 pounds. With twin 400 Merc L6s turning 17 pitch props and run up to 6,100 RPM, our speed topped out at 52.4 miles per hour. From 3,500 RPM to 4,500, she produced an efficiency of 1.3 miles per gallon, but the middle of that range at 4,000 RPM showed slightly better range. At 29.5 miles per hour and 22.3 gallons per hour, she'll keep going for 475 statute miles while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 400-gallon total fuel capacity. We really couldn't get an accurate time to plane because in true cat fashion, she had little to no bow rise. She just comes up in a level attitude. But with the throttle pinned, we reached 20 miles per hour in 5.7 seconds, continued through 30 miles per hour in 8.8, and went right through 40 miles per hour in 14 seconds flat.
So here's an interesting test. Because this boat is so light, I should be able to get up on plane with one engine. Let's give it a try. Unbelievable. I'm going 21.5 miles an hour on one engine. Get a problem offshore and you lose an engine, it's not a problem. This was a fun boat to drive, and we certainly got excellent economy out of it. Probably the most disappointing thing about this entire test is, I mean, look at this. It's flat come out here, and that's not supposed to happen when you're in a catamaran. We're supposed to be in 1, 2 foot, 3 foot chop and show how this thing blasts right through that chop. We did have a lot of yachts coming in and out of Port Everglades Inlet, so we were crossing those wakes, and it did show that with those narrow hulls, we slice right through. There's no pounding. And if you do come up, when you're coming back down, you kind of brace yourself for a slam that never happens. It just has a gentle re-entry and then slice right through the next wave. It's a really cool feeling, and it's something that kind of takes you by surprise because you're expecting it to be so much harder. When you put her into turns in true cat fashion, she stays flat in the turns, slightly outboard of the turn. If I put it into a power turn, I can get it to lean out more, but it stays level and a little bit out once that turn is established. Once you get up on plane and cruising speed, then you want to come up about 10, 12 on the engine trim. So on your throttle, just start hitting it up, bring it up to about 10, 12. Now you're in the best running attitude, and that's where you're going to get the least amount of wetted surface under the hull and then the aerated surface in the back. You've got your best cruise performance at that point. Trim tabs? Well, I never touched them, and you want to know why? There aren't any. This is a very well-designed hull that doesn't need trim tabs. When you're docking a catamaran, it's not like a monohull where you just get that sideways slide going on and you slide yourself right up to the dock. It doesn't work like that with a catamaran. You have to drive it up to the dock, literally. Drive it to the dock. Well, I have to say, between the smooth ride, the dry ride, and the efficiency, there's a lot to like about the HammerCat 35. There's also a lot to like for being on board, but that's another video. Be sure to look for it. For now, this is my full performance evaluation and sea trial of the HammerCat 35. For Ocean Life Network, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water. There's a man... Whoops.